we've done Ranch Triangle just outside of Lincoln Park. We've done River West. We've done Old Town. I've done a cluster of neighborhoods. And today, in the neighborhood urbanism series, we're going to tackle Near West Side. It's a very large community. Quick refresher, there are 77 communities in Chicago. This is one of the designated communities, the Near West Side, which has multiple neighborhoods, but we're going to take a chunk of that community. And what are we going to talk about? So I'm pretty consistent with these type of neighborhood urbanism videos, but let me show you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about in this portion, and I'll share a map towards the end of the video, but a portion of the Near West Side, we're going to talk about the market stats, which I like to do in this particular YouTube series and also my short form, which you can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll also share where you can find me there, the handle. But we're going to talk about the market stats. We're going to talk about the density projects. I focus on these developments that you guys know, the missing middle housing, which is very, very critical to alleviate some of the pressures on pricing, both in the retail market and in the, what I focus on, the resale purchase market. So density projects in the area, I've highlighted a couple, and a one big one, which is kind of related to the title. Today's title of Near West Side is the untold future of Near West Side Chicago. And finally, what I like to do here is map. I'm not going to be as detailed as I've been previously. I'm going to talk about transit options, and I'll talk about the density projects. If you want to live either at these properties or around, how to get to transit, and I may share a couple of restaurants or attractions within that map. So what I want to share first in this near West Side, I want to show inventory. Inventory's been a big issue, excuse me. Inventory throughout, not only locally in Chicago, but through the nation. We've had the inventory crunch, right? That's why we're trying to bring more supply online to help with the pricing. And it's going to be a multi-year effort. Obviously, you just don't immediately bring down pricing when you bring supply on, because obviously there is a time horizon up to 18 months, maybe 2 years for these properties to come fully online, et cetera. So it does take some time. But first thing I want to share here is listing inventory. So you can see right here. Let me know if you guys can see this. Very interesting. Downward trending. In some of the neighborhoods, there's been a slight upswing, but in this Near West Side, they've had some downward trending. It's looking like last year, a little over 96, and now we're down to 79. So new listings trending down. You may notice if you've been watching any of my short form content, there's been a recurring theme of, as I've kind of expanded out, either right during the pandemic or sometimes a year. Chicago is sometimes lagging in some neighborhoods up to 6 to 12 months of what's going on in the rest of the country. Those were the peaks. And a lot of neighborhoods have just simply not recovered, and therefore there's been an upward pressure on pricing. But how is Near West Side pricing going to be? I'll get to that in 1 second. But this is the new listings hitting the market this is January data, of course, recorded in February, right? This is those downward trending. And how about another key metric? I'm going to remove that and add to the stage. Listing to contract. So while new inventory, that inventory is the supply side, this listing to contract is a really good metric for demand, to see what the actual buyer demand is in a particular area. That is when the property goes on the market to it gets a contract. It's the true metric versus a contract to close or the whole totality. Because obviously people have different time for some people have financing, some people can close in 2 weeks if they're paying cash. So there's a lot of variables. but this listed contract is a really good way. If the property is priced properly, it's prepared, price, promotion, and the three P's, price, promotion, preparation, right? Then it usually is that better metric. And this has been 2 weeks, which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, there's been a commonality in a lot of the neighborhoods that I've been reporting on month over month, 5 days, 6 days, easily. I'm just did Ravenswoods. It's 4 days listed contract. I think that's the lowest. That will be posting fairly soon. That along with Avondale and Bucktown, 14 days. So twice as much as a lot of the popular neighborhoods, which I've said the median is about 6. This is twice as much. So there's been a relative taking a little bit longer in this particular community area of near West Side. So I find that really interesting. So elevated listing the contract, inventory is down. So let's look at that very important metric, month supply, which incorporates that inventory that I mentioned to you. But let's throw in the month supply, which again is simply the active listings over your contracted sales. It's that relationship. So as the properties come onto the market, how quickly are they coming off the market? Very simple metric. In a lot of the popular neighborhoods, again, it's been 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Here we have 1.8, which doesn't sound like a lot, but as I just mentioned, you in some of those popular neighborhoods in the West Town on the north side, we're talking 1 full month, 30 days more of available supply, right? 0.8 versus 1.8. Most markets, as I've mentioned in the past, 5 months of supply is your seller market. Anything above is a buyer's. Since we've had this very, very lack of inventory in all the popular neighborhoods, it's really that I would say 3 is a severe sales. And there's very few that are even close to that. I would say South Loop, and I mentioned that also in the past. South Loop is probably very close to 3. But these are, remember, condos. I'm working on 2-bedroom, 2-bath resale condos. You can see at the bottom of the screen, that is the property type. If you want any other property type, 2 to 4 units, that's a whole building. You want townhome information, obviously, of course, I'm going to be sharing the QR code for you to schedule a consult with me, and also be sharing my email so you can reach out to me. So very interesting. But this is trending down. So we have month supply, the supply side trending down. We have inventory trending down. List of contract surging in a way. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but relative to other neighborhoods, it's taking a little bit longer. So what is that going to do with home prices, which I found very interesting? Let's go back here. Okay. Let me show you last year, year over year, 344,000, which, again, relative to other popular neighborhoods in the Bucktowns and in the North Centers and in a pocket of North Center, which is community, Roscoe Village, 500,000 easily for a 2-bedroom, right? 344, it's very, very attractive. But now what is it? That's January 2025, as you can see, what is it compared to the data from last month? And if you can see here, depending on what side of the aisle you're on, buyer or seller, I'm going to take this out. Let's add it in. Check this out. Under 300,000, a 2-bedroom, which is so super rare. You can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. This is median pricing, right? Median for $296. It's amazing, right? So if you're a buyer, particularly if you're a buyer that everyone knows the West Loop, and I will explain that when we do the map portion toward the end of the live stream. Let's say you can't afford West Loop. Well, live just outside of West Loop for under 300,000. You can get a condo and then enjoy all the pleasures of, the fine dining and bars, etc., nightlife of West Loop. But 296,000. But I guess this is trending down. So you would think, well, wait a second. If this is trending down, the demand supply, something needs to be like supply has to be, accelerating with demand down. Demand is pulling down a little bit, as I mentioned, right? It's taking a little bit longer to get a contract, but also listings have gone down and pricing is down. Very, very interesting on what's the case. Now, don't like to use the word undesirable, which is not. It is, I guess I would say, less popular, this pocket of the near west side. Uh, as you'll see, there's plenty of stuff to do there. But again, it's perception, which I don't know. I don't understand why. And there's plenty of transit options. But of course, people, they see the Avondales, they see the Andersonvilles, they see the Bucktowns, the Wicker Parks, and this type of area is forgotten, which is unfortunate. It's great. It's attractive, very, very attractive area. And I'll show when I do the density projects how it could be a very, very attractive for you as a buyer, as a relocation buyer, coming in here and buying on a so-called dip and then riding it as potentially as new developments come in there. And one mega project I'm going to talk about, they can be a really, really sound investment for you if that's what you're thinking about versus trying to buy, quote unquote, a little on the high side in other popular neighborhoods. And while there's always going to be appreciation in the neighborhoods I mentioned, the Andersonvilles, the Wicker Parks, Bucktowns, it may not be as much as that's been in years past. So I found this is very, very interesting. So let me know if you've got any questions on some of these stats. If you would you consider, maybe you're an investor and you're looking for some opportunities. Condos is one. Again, if you want more of buildings, and again, a quick refresher education, when I say 2 to 4 flats, the vernacular, if you're in Boston, it's a triple decker, right? So think of it as 2 to 4 units in a building. Anything more than 4 units, you're in the multi-family stage, could require different financing, particularly with this 2 to 4, you're going to have to at least 25%. A lot of times this is going to be a second home for you. You won't be occupying it. So there's obviously going to be different regulations. And we get to that stage, I'll be sharing my real estate consult link scheduler. We can get you in touch with the lender once we get to that stage. But if you're looking for those type of properties or townhomes had some interesting pricing, in the 500s for 3 bedrooms. If you think about it, you get a 2-bedroom in a lot of neighborhoods. For a condo for 500 plus, you can get a townhome, a larger home. You get more bang for your buck. If you want that information, again, reach out. I will put in, let's throw in, bingo. So the bottom, AD at Anant Deoras, that's my first and last name, ChicagoRE.com. That's AD at Anant Deoras, ChicagoRE.com, all one word. Reach out to me if you have questions. And again, a little bit, I will share the scheduler if you want to schedule a consult. So I'm going to hide that. So very, very interesting stats. Okay. Guys hanging in there? Cheers, everyone. It is a happy hour. It's a happy hour here. So I hope it's a happy hour for you, wherever you're from. Quick introduction, right? Many may not know me. I am Anant Deoras, as you can see there in the lower left corner, AD, but all my friends, frenemies, soon to be clients such as yourself, call me AD. I've been licensed for 13 years, loving what I do, helping buyers, sellers, and investors of residential real estate. If you're not coming into Chicago, I totally get it. I love my city, been here for 30 plus years. I went to school in Chicago, Loyola grad, go Ramblers. But I get it, right? It's not for everybody. If you need someone in a different part of the US, I have a nationwide network, both through my brokerage and just networking with other realtors. I'll be happy to refer you. So all you have to do is, again, schedule a real estate consult. I will share that. I just shared my email. You can reach out an email. So either way, I got you covered. Either way. Okay. So now let's talk about some projects. So in this near west side, I found a couple of interesting projects I'm going to share. Let's kind of go through it together. But just in case, if you're curious, that's my Instagram handle. And that same handle, Chicago underscore urbanism.ad. That's Chicago underscore urbanism.ad. You go into TikTok. If you like the TikTok, go on there. I'm posting in all three platforms along with. Before we talk about the big mega development, wanted to share with you good folks. Okay. Boom. So that right there, while I take a sip, is a QR code to my real estate consult page. It's a Google link. And just about every day I have time and I can work around your schedule. If you click on that, if you're watching on YouTube on your TV, you just have to scan that. If you're watching on your mobile, on all of my videos, I'm going to pin the link. It's a Google scheduling link where you can click on that and go ahead and schedule time. Schedule time with me. Let's talk about your needs. It could be, you could be 2 years away. You could be not even moving to the city. Maybe you have questions about, again, as I mentioned earlier, I can find you a referral. So if you're going to another city, I'll be happy to have that conversation. If it doesn't work out or you decide to use another realtor instead of my referral choice, no problem at all. But I'm happy to help in any way. Expect up to an hour conversation, maybe more, maybe less. But that is a great way to kind of build a relationship and hopefully help you find a place. Or if you need to list a place, I also handle listings. Reach out to me. I would love to help. Okay. So the big elephant in the room, the United Center redevelopment. Okay. So let's go here. Nope, it's right here. Okay. The 1901 project. This is a very, I guess, audacious would be. The Reinsdorfs, who of course own, Jerry Reinsdorf owns the Bulls. His son John runs it, and the Wirtz, who own the Blackhawks. So those families are combining together. It's like a $7 billion, you see right here. Plans are revealed last year by the Reinsdorf and Wirtz family. This article came out, so it's been about a year. This is going to be multi-phase. But let's read the some of the details here, the phases, right? Spending 55 acres with a total cost of $7 billion. The project is being privately funded, which is music. Those two words are music to most taxpayers' ears, including myself. In contrast to many of the other ongoing stadium plans across the city, built in phases, the master plan and phase one is being designed by Los Angeles Rios, with field operations working on the landscape. The phases are as follows. So they have all the phases here. There's a lot going on here. You can see, I'm sure you can see the link in case I'll share it. But so right now, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but they're saying here 2028. The first phase is actually the redevelopment of the lots on the southwest corner of the arena. Anchoring this would be a 6,000 seat music hall with swooping roof lines, perimeter retail, and a rooftop park that's connected to the other rooftop parks for a total of 5.3 acres of green space. There'll also be a large plaza from the United Center to Adams Street. So that's pretty impressive. I would hope to have some housing for the first phase, but as we go through this article, that will come up. But 6,000 is pretty impressive. I mean, you have the United Center right next door, which is I think 22,000. But I imagine for acoustics and stuff, smaller arenas are better. So let's kind of go through here. They're just talking a little bit more about this new phase. Right here. To the north will be a new mixed, so in another phase, new mixed-use building to support the arena built over the existing receiving docks. The ground floor will have 3 commercial spaces, broadcast center, offices with some parking, to be converted to more retail in the future. Of course, there's going to be multi-level parking, which I know kind of sucks, but so many people coming in there. If they're getting rid of parking lots, obviously, right? You're not going horizontal, you're going vertical. So it is what it is. Now, there's going to be a hotel. There's going to be a hotel here. Hotel Fitness Center, lobby for the hotel. 233 hotel rooms, meeting space, and rooftop bar. Wow. Okay. This is very impressive. But we're talking 15 years out, right? For this, you can see right here, future phases. The last spanning across the rest of the parking lots from Sealy to West Ashland, with a maximum building height of 660 feet. With the second to last phase, this building out the rest of the 28 acres, including multiple interconnected rooftop parking and potentially a new pink line station, which is, I'm going to hold my breath on that one. So, look at this. So this is the big one. In total, the completed project will deliver almost 9,500 residential units. 20% will be affordable. 1,300 hotel rooms. 660,000 square feet of office space. 270,000 square feet of retail space. 5,800 parking spaces. Right? I guess good news here. Dropped from 6,500. So that's the good news. And you can see this is kind of the timeline here with this approval. They had the initial approval. It'll need a final stamp from City Council. Once received, it'll move on. With this being privately funded, I don't anticipate that. It's just a matter of how much. Right now, the Reinsdorf and the Wirtz families have the stomach for it. That could change. Or maybe they don't want to do the whole $7 billion. We don't know. We don't know what goes on. They're saying it's going to be privately funded. Again, I'm holding my breath until we get the final approval. But it's exciting. It's exciting for the area. If it does go through, I mean, it could mean property values for people who buy low. Property values can definitely increase for people that decide to get in now. So that is definitely a possibility. So it's the 1901 hotel. So very, very interesting, exciting. I'm going to show this on the map. But that's that mega project. That is that mega project. So there's really, really exciting things happening in the near west side. Let's go back here. Okay. So where do these projects look on a map, right? How I end these type of urbanism neighborhood series videos is we do a little map walkthrough. So we're going to share my screen one final time. And we are going to go to the near west side. Let me make sure I minimize. Okay. All right. Decided to, as I mentioned here in the beginning of the video, the live stream, consolidating it a little bit. Here is the rough. Now, if we pan out a little bit, really, the near west side extends all the way into West Loop, includes West Loop, goes a little bit further west. This is Western Avenue, and goes a little further south. I wanted to focus on here. I wanted to take West Loop out of the equation. Obviously, right, you see the median pricing. If I added in West Loop, that median pricing shoots up. Excuse me. It's more representative. The data of the community when you remove West Loop really needs to be on its own, in my humble opinion. So this is what I decided to use as the area. Here's the maps. Now let's look at these housing. So right up here in the north, we have the mega development. Let's get a little bit closer. You can see here, let me collapse that map. So you can see the United Center here. You have this Lake and Damon, which is the pink line. I'm not quite sure where they would put in a new pink line. I mean, I did the quick step-by-step directions. You can easily go on Google. It's an 8-minute walk. So if that could save money and that money could be allocated maybe for something else or more units, I think that would make sense. What do you guys think? You guys want to have another station there? Is it worth it? Sound off, comment below, right? Again, if you're this is streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, along with YouTube. However, I can't see those comments. So comment anything, anything which you've liked. If you like this video, if you like the structure, I would love some feedback. If you want me to change the structure of this video, I'm definitely open to constructive feedback. And based upon obviously the democracy here, if it's something that the viewer, you, the potential relocation buyer or seller, move up buyer, I will definitely make those changes. So comment. What do you think? Is it needed? I don't know. I don't think it's needed, but you can see here that's United right here. Okay. You have access to 290. You have access over here to 90. So of course, if you got the car, you got the car. A lot of people either at Rush, so in the healthcare field, or if you go just outside, you have, let me do one more so you guys can see it. Oh, over there. Whoops. Right over there. University of Illinois, right? So professors, postgrads, they may live outside this area. A lot of the healthcare people live, if they're doing residency and stuff, they live here. So there's a really, that's what they call it, the Illinois Medical District. You can see here within the near west side. So again, near west side is a community. And then you have these neighborhoods, Illinois Medical District, Tri-Taylor. Right around here is like Little Italy, where there's some nice Italian restaurants. And then you have UIC just to the east. Over here are where the Congress, 2401 and 2411. Congress Parkway are where these two developments are going to go. The great news here, this western along, there's a Racine over here, that's the blue line. So via downtown, you can head up to O'Hare. This is the Forest Park branch. So let's say you need to travel. You need to travel, you're a consultant, you can live, have a relatively affordable condo purchase, and then via downtown, you can take that blue line up to O'Hare. Very, very, very super convenient. So that's what you'd have access to up over here in these two properties. The other property was, so I actually did not talk about. This is the Fillmore property. I believe it's about a 50 unit. This is the one right over here. It's Fillmore. You're kind of close to Racine. It's not obviously as ideal as the Congress, but you are closer to Ashland, and you got to understand what both like Ashland, Damon, Western, all served by bus lines. So you can quickly, if you're living over here on Fillmore, you can get to the bus and take the bus, no problem at all. So transit wise, and obviously reducing the car dependency is definitely plausible here in the near west side. Let me bring this legend back. Those are these properties here. So basically, I talked about these three right here. If you want any information on Fillmore, just reach out. I can share these links. I use ChicagoYimby.com. It's a great resource when I'm doing my quick videos in my research. It's a really, really good help, and those guys are great. I obviously give them credit on their photography and their sourcing. They're the original sources. So let's show you the transit the transit options are just multiple. You have this Polk Pink Line, you have Western, you have the Illinois Medical District right here, and you have Racine, Blue Line, and Metro. Metro is a commuter line, right? So Metro goes out. You have CTA, which handles intra area around Chicago, city of Chicago, right? To get out to the suburbs, the commuter line is the Metro. It is serviced by Western. So if you happen to live in this southwestern corner, you have, you literally in just about all of these areas, good folks, you have train. You have train just about everywhere. Look at this. It's amazing. So that is the map. Now, like I said, you can decide to live up over here where this cursor is, and you can spit over to West Loop. There's a Huckabee Loogie. I can't talk. Over, and you're that close to West Loop. So you have the advantage of having affordable housing, relatively affordable housing west, and then you can, that disposable income that you save, you can go blow in West Loop if you want. So, but you're very, very close to, and of course, Fulton Market, all the fantastic restaurants and Restaurant Row on Randolph over there. That's what I would advise if initially, and then you can eventually sell that. And if you want a bigger place, a bigger condo, you can see we go to West Loop, or do what a lot of my clients do. This is their transitional type of first home, purchase the condo, and then they go to the suburbs and they get the single family. But what I was saying is, these 2 to 4 unit, I mean, they used to be people could live in one and rent out the other 2 or 3, and then it would be passed down. Unfortunately, with housing prices, as it's affecting, I know it's probably not as expensive in Omaha, but in David's situation, but across the nation, in the Boston and San Francisco, those prices have escalated so much. So it's forcing a lot of people to make tough decisions and move out to the suburbs. So I want to try to bring some awareness. Obviously, right, I can only do so much. There's been restrictions on that type of housing, but if I can get the word out there, hopefully it is a great investment to have that unit. If you can, depending on where you're buying it, and rent out the units, live in one of the units if you want, or treat it all as rental income. It's a great way to build out your portfolio and build that generational wealth. So David has a question here. Do most folks who embrace resilience? Oh, yeah, I have a car. Yeah, a lot of people. And that's an excellent question, David. Remember, this is not a complete independence from cars or anti-car. I want to be very, very clear before we wrap up. This is just less reliance on the car. Car dependency, I think, is very, very, very critical. Now, maybe somewhere in like obviously in the suburbs of Chicago, that's just not viable. I know friends that live in Naperville. It's a very, very popular, rich suburb. They have a metro, but you have to drive everywhere. You have to drive everywhere, right? So yeah, exactly, right. But if we can have that happy medium, there is an area, um, Oak Park, which has access to that blue line I mentioned, and they have a nice downtown. Evanston, where Northwestern is at, where you have obviously you have expensive homes, but you have that proximity to their downtown, where you can almost take a bike into the downtown. So it's possible, but no, long-winded way of saying, of course, people are going to have cars. It's just the reality. I'm just trying to get the kind of word out in my own area here, is to reduce that. I try to walk as much as I can. Of course, the back is given out, but what are you going to do? Yeah, right. So awesome, David. Appreciate your support, everyone. Let's see. Oh, we got one more here. Really saves on car maintenance. 7 years ago, there was more. Yeah. I haven't even gotten to that. I'll probably do, but not on a live stream, but I'll do an edited video on cars and that time it costs, almost kind of like a cost of living. I'm kind of figuring out how I want to structure that. But I mean, between the insurance, which is just going up for everybody, and the maintenance, it can be, and parking. I'm not even telling you how much I pay. A lot of people, particularly in the city, right? I'm fortunate enough. I park in my garage, and I'm paying over $200 a month just to park my car. So, and most people are doing it. You can't get anything really less than that. If you're parking outside, maybe depending on if you own a condo, you would get like an assigned. Then it's wrapped into the purchase price of the condo. But like a lot of renters, they're paying additional 150, 175. Oh yeah, yep. Welcome to the city, David. So. But thank you, David, as always, for your support, folks. This has been, the future of the untold future of the Near West Side Chicago. Remember, the Near West Side is a community of Chicago, one of the 77 communities. I am Anant Deoras, AD, your urbanism realtor. Thank you, David. Any questions at all? I shared my email. I'm going to put it up here one more time for you before we wrap up. Let me find it. There you go. Keep that up there. out. AD@AnantDeorasChicagoRE.com. That's AD@AnantDeorasChicagoRE.com. And until next time, reach out to me. Enjoy your evening. Have a great day.